All right, everybody, welcome back to Starting with the Story, the podcast. Today, I got my absolute boy here, the unit. His name is Justin Rice. I've known him since like middle school. I've kind of seen him in elementary school. He was a baller. He's a great guy, and he's one of my best friends. So I'm super pumped to have him on. So what's going on, Justin? How we doing?
I'm doing well, John Lee. It's good to talk to you, man.
Yeah, it's been too long. How are you doing?
Doing great today, man. It's been rainy out here today in San Diego, but absolutely blessed to be out here. Had a great day overall. Got a couple things done on the list, and I'm excited to be sitting here and chatting with you.
Awesome, brother. Me too. Me too. Well, let's get right into it. Justin Rice, what is your story, my man?
What is my story? So I am 23 years old. Right now, I'm currently living in San Diego, California. So kind of a backstory. Kind of in the fitness and health space right now. That's where my passions really lie. Grew up small town kid from Galloway Township, same town as John Lee.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. Grew up as an athlete, so that was kind of like my main, main outlet as I was growing up. Played multiple sports, basketball, soccer, you name it. I was playing it. My mom got me involved with it, and going through high school, was really kind of a nerd. You know, me and John Lee were in a lot of classes together. And studying was like my main thing, and playing sports after school. And then moving forward, going into college, I ended up going to Rutgers University, studying exercise science and sports studies with a minor in nutrition. So my passion really is in that exercise science field and health realm. My main goal was really to get into physical therapy school. Going into sophomore, junior year, I kind of got influenced a little bit to start pursuing medicine. Ended up going on that route a little bit, taking the pre-med courses to kind of prepare for the MCAT and all of that. During my time at Rutgers, I did athletic training a little bit with the football team there, so do have somewhat of like an athletic trainer background as well. And then, kind of took a little sidetrack, had some life situations go on. They kind of deter me from pursuing graduate school afterwards. And right now, so after college, I ended up starting up my own online coaching business, J Rice Fit. That's kind of where things started out. And with that, I was mainly doing health and fitness coaching, trying to help people lose fat, feel better, overall just live a better life and live up to their true potential. I truly believe that if you're starting with the foods that you're putting in your body, and you're starting with exercise and movement and incorporating some mindfulness techniques like meditation and all of that, I think it really just increases your chances of living up to your potential. I really truly believe in that. So started that off right out of college, and I was doing that for some time, and I was doing personal training at a local gym in the area. And, that's kind of where things started. And after that, I ended up so I'm working right now on a supplement brand called Just Integrity. So that's kind of like my other side gig. We're kind of in the startup mode, still working on that and building it up. Our main products right now are CBD. So probably a lot of the listeners have heard this now. It's kind of like the hot new health product right now.
yeah.
But so that's kind of what we're doing right now. My partner and I, we're trying to build that up and grow that. And that's where I'm at right now.
All right. Well, first off, man, thank you so much. That was like a really good summary of like 23 years of living. So kudos
Yeah,
to you
nice
for
and
that.
quick.
But I guess we'll start from your upbringing and your introduction into fitness. So when did you know that it wasn't just going to be about sports, that this is something that you wanted to study? This is something that you wanted to utilize to help people for the better. When did that shift happen for you?
Yeah, so I would say in eighth grade, I really had my mindset on physical therapy. I thought it was a great career path to get into. I knew that it had a lot of opportunities to present, and I really had a fascination for the human body and anatomy. So that's kind of where it started off at. And then moving from there, going into my senior year, I knew that I wasn't going to be pursuing sports at the next level. I did kind of,
What? Why not?
yeah. I just wasn't big enough, wasn't strong enough. I wasn't really into weightlifting at the time. We were doing, a lot of cardio workouts and just didn't have the strength to really take it to the next level, to the D2, D1 level. So at that time, I knew that that wasn't really going to be my path. So I was like, you know what, I'm going to get into the gym. So that's when I ended up my senior year of high school that summer. Ended up getting into the gym and started working out and utilizing weights. And when you first start training, I miss those days because when you first start training, your body's so quick to adapt. And, I put on quite a bit of muscle mass in those first couple weeks. And I really got the chance to see how quick the body can transform. And that kind of led into like a snowball effect. I really started reading more about exercise and nutrition. Men's health magazines were big for me. I used to read those all the time. The ripped dudes on the front of magazines, and I don't really read that stuff anymore because I think a lot of it's just to kind of sell people. But that's kind of where things started. I think a lot of people in the fitness and health space start with men's health magazines, and so that kind of like got my passion going with fitness and health. And then going into school, things kind of just snowballed, and I really felt like fitness and health was going to be transformative for other people as well. And then, I'll open up a little bit. So my junior year of college, my mom ended up passing away just from health complications and some other things, and that kind of really drove my passion to help people pursue fitness and health, because I've recognized that there's got to be something else. There's got to be something that's going to help people really live a more healthy life and a vital life and live longer. And that's where my passion for nutrition really came in, and I started reading a lot more, diving into more like alternative health kind of books, and that's really where it started at.
Awesome. Well, one, thank you so much for your vulnerability and transparency and sharing that. I'm sure it's tough to, share those experiences, but I really enjoy the fact that it's turned into motivation, and it's turned into, a source of your passion. So I think that's awesome. And on top of that, so when did that shift happen from you know that you enjoy fitness? When did that turn into like a business idea? And when did that turn into you starting to coach people, and how that process started? Did you have a background in the business side of things, or did you just kind of go for it? Like, what was that starting process like?
Yeah, for me, it was just seeing other people do it. So at the time, out of college, Instagram was kind of just becoming what it is. And I started noticing that there were people that were actually coaching other people to transform their bodies and to lead a healthier life. And I was like, this could be something that I could do. It seemed very attainable. So that kind of sparked the idea and led me into like, okay, how do I get this going? What do I need to do? What kind of steps? For me, whenever I have a goal, it's kind of backtracking and outlining, okay, this is the end goal, but how am I going to get there? What steps are going to be necessary? So first, it was really just getting a website, getting a website up. That was first and foremost. Figuring out, okay, I have the knowledge on how to transform bodies, but how am I going to implement that? How am I going to get these processes involved? Am I going to be doing, somewhat of like a questionnaire where people are filling out a questionnaire and answering questions so I get a better understanding of who they are. So that's kind of where things, it was just a process, figuring out what steps were necessary.
What do you think was the most difficult part in that whole process? Because, nowadays everyone has like a side gig, everyone has like something they're working on, but there's a lot of difficult things that come with that. So what was a few of those things for you?
Yeah, I think it's always client retention and trying to get clients. That's always a difficult thing to do. It's just constantly reaching out to people,
Right.
making sure, trying to, it's somewhat of a sales job. You do
Mhm.
have to kind of promote yourself, and you do have to kind of go out of your way to reach out to people. Sometimes they're not going to be just flooding in and saying, hey, I want to sign up for your coaching program. You actually have to reach out to people and, and ask them, what they're looking to do, what are their goals, and presenting that kind of need, and then showing them that you could help them
Fulfill
with
it,
what they
yeah.
need. Yeah.
Before we move on to like a few other topics, what is the greatest thing that you've gained from that experience with your fitness coaching and helping people in that sense, and really turning your passion from middle school into an actual reality? What were some of the greatest things that have come from that?
Good question. I think the whole business side. I didn't grow up with any influences that, my mom didn't have a business. I didn't really know anybody at the time that had a business. So a lot of it was a huge learning process, huge learning curve for me, to get all of that going. And I didn't really have any mentors to kind of look out to get guidance on how to get this going. So for me, that was a huge learning point, and it was probably one of the greatest takeaways is being able to get a business going up and make income from your passion. Was one of the greatest takeaways.
Awesome. Awesome. So I want to move on to your new endeavor right now, which is your health product company with your CBD and all that. I know, because I know you, that a lot of things changed, right? You're from Galloway, from the East Coast. Now you moved to the West Coast. You started a new business. You're in a whole new area. And, the topic of this season is fear. So how does all this change in your life correlate with fear and how you're dealing with it?
Yeah, fear was the number one reason why I'm out here right now. So for the listeners, I really suggest allowing your fears to be somewhat of a guidance for you. When fears come up, let that kind of be a way into new growth. For me, so I had the
Love
opportunity.
that.
I knew I wanted to come out to California. It's always been one of my dreams. I've been out here a lot of times before for spring breaks and all of that, and I knew it was a place where I wanted to be at just because of the people, the weather, all of that. And I was presented the opportunity at a time where was kind of I wasn't really financially ready to make the leap. Well, I was allowing myself to have the fear of not allowing the financials to be a limitation.
Okay.
So I wasn't at the I guess the peak of my finances. So I was like, all right, this could be somewhat of a struggle coming out here. I'm going to have to be putting a little bit more money out for rent, and there's going to be a little bit more expenses involved, and that kind of you know I was like, we only live life once, so let's just get this thing going. And I'm gonna jump out here. I didn't really have, the business right now. We're not really taking income from it. It's kind of, we put money into the
Yeah, you're
business,
investing
and
in it.
exactly, we're investing in the business, allowing the money to kind of compound. We're using the money that we make from the products to reinvest into the business. So I'm not making any income from it. So for me, it was really just, allowing that fear to get me out here. And that's kind of been my guidance for the past couple of years is whenever I fear something, that's kind of a trigger for me to just go after it, because on the other side, I truly believe on the other side of fear, there's tremendous amount of growth. And I've already recognized that coming out here that there wasn't really anything to fear. It's just kind of a mental game. So.
Right, right. What do you think? What kind of advice would you give to people that are maybe losing that mental game and they're losing that battle? How would you approach that situation, motivate others to use their fear as their motivator rather than their deterrent?
Yeah, yeah. So ask important questions. I think it's very important to just ask simple questions to yourself. So, first and foremost, what's going to be the worst case scenario? For me, moving out here, what was going to be the worst case scenario? Hey, I might go broke, down the road, and I might not be if I don't make ends meet, and I might have to move back home. But where would I be? I would just be where I started at, and it wouldn't really be any loss at all. So for the listeners, definitely ask yourself what's the worst case scenario if I actually go after this and I put my all into it. What am I going to lose? And also ask yourself, what are you going to gain from the experience? If you do go after it and you do chase those fears, um, you're going to come out on the other side with a lot of growth and a lot of lessons to be learned. So just recognize that, and just also have faith. There's going to be, it's okay to have fear, but just have faith that it's going to work out. And 9 times out of 10, it's going to work out. But if it doesn't, you're going to have a lot of lessons on the other side that you're going to be able to take with you for a lifetime. Another thing is also, I'll talk a little bit more, open up a little bit more. So when my mom passed away, that was a huge trigger for me. This was about 3 years back. So it was a huge trigger for me to recognize that life is so short. It really is. It's short, but it's very long at the same time, especially if you're starting to pay attention to your health and fitness early on. You can extend your life, but life is really short. So, why not go after what you really care about? Why not chase it down? That's my takeaway for the listeners, is to really recognize it. Life's short. Just go after it.
Man, I love that. I love that so much. Out of these fears and out of battling these fears and overcoming them and all these tough situations, what's something that was really unexpected that was really awesome, if that makes sense?
Yeah, just I guess for me, just being able to help people out. That's been so fulfilling. Just knowing that just being able to change somebody's life. Helping one person out just means so much. And that's really been just from me taking risks over the last couple of years with putting myself out there as like somewhat of a public figure on social media. I think it can be somewhat of a fear for us to put ourselves out there and talk on camera on social media. And I've been doing that for the past couple of years continuously. And I get people that reach out to me saying, just certain comments that you help me out here, whether it's just something that's motivational or something in regards to health and fitness. So just for all the listeners out there, you could really make a difference in somebody's life. And there's nothing better than that, than being able to help and give back.
Awesome. So I'm really curious now, like, was it always like this? Were you always very comfortable in front of the camera, or very comfortable putting yourself out there in hopes to help other people, or did you start off as not so confident in that?
Absolutely not. It was a struggle for me, and I actually have to give a lot of props to my buddy from college. His name's Mitch, and he reached out to me one day because I was putting a lot of content out there on social media, but I wasn't putting my face out there, and I wasn't talking to my audience. My buddy, he reached out to me. He's like, "Hey, man, I really think it would be beneficial if you, instead of just putting these graphics and these tips out there, that you actually got on the camera and talked about them a little bit." And I wasn't really comfortable with getting on the camera, and that kind of pushed me to do it. When somebody else says that it's going to help them out, that's a huge initiative for me. Because if I could help somebody out, that's like, I would be very selfish for me to not do it. So it's like, I'm gonna do it, and I put the camera up, and you hit the button, and you fail a couple times. You stumble on your words. You don't say things correctly, but that's okay. You delete the video and you try again. So, and I still do that today. I don't really know if people know that follow me on Instagram, but I don't nail the video on the first time every single time. There's times where I stumble and I forget a couple sentences on what I wanted to kind of convey to the audience. So it's about just trying and failing, and then learning from that.
Awesome. Yeah. In that process of trial and error and failure and growth, what's something that you've really learned about yourself that you didn't really realize until you started doing that?
I learned so I had a huge fear of public speaking when we were younger, when we were in class,
What?
like any
Okay.
oh yeah, whenever we had like any type of even in college when we I had a
Mhm.
public speaking project or I had to go up in front of class,
Mhm.
I would shake a lot, my palms would sweat immediately, my
Mm.
armpits would sweat, and I'm like just being honest,
Yeah.
it would cause a lot of I guess stress and like anxiety for me to
Mm.
get up in front of class and talk about something.
Yeah, for sure.
But for me, what's been a huge catalyst is actually understanding what I'm talking about. So now that I have more confidence and I understand a lot more about nutrition and fitness, that's given me confidence. So
Mm.
for all the listeners out there, like if you're having trouble putting yourself out there, I really just recommend like trying to learn something.
Mm.
Learn whatever that topic is that you're passionate about, and that'll give you a little bit more confidence to put yourself out there and talk about it. You know.
100%,
Yeah.
100%.
Uh,
So we're gonna switch gears a little bit, but I'm curious again with the CBD company. As you mentioned, it is a new product that's kind of become more and more popular in media and news and articles and whatnot. But there is always a fear with new things, right? So what's a common fear that people bring up when you talk about CBD or you talk about your products, and what's the biggest misconception, or what if you could do a myth buster on CBD, like what would that be like?
Yeah, so CBD has an association with like marijuana and
Hmm.
THC. So a lot of people have the stigma that that it's going to give you that high, that it's going to give you that
Hmm.
psychoactivity, and that it's kind of related with the recreational aspect of marijuana that we all
Hmm.
see.
Hmm.
But that's just not the case. CBD is a different chemical compound. It stands for cannabidiol,
Hmm.
and it has a lot of therapeutic benefits. They're doing a ton of research on it right now for
Hmm.
inflammation, for pain, cancer, just a plethora of therapeutic benefits are
Right.
involved with it. So that's really the number one misconception right now is that it's going to get you high. It has no psychoactive effects.
Hmm.
It's just really just so we have another system in our body, just like our cardiovascular system, our nervous
Hmm.
system. We have an endocannabinoid system, and
Hmm.
the system is it's entirely unique in that these cannabinoids, the CBD especially, has the ability to bind to certain receptors in the system and
Hmm.
trigger certain ailment responses. So you're um,
Hmm.
able to recover from certain illnesses and injuries and whatnot. So that's really the main misconception right now is
Hmm.
that it gives you that high, but it's non psychoactive.
Awesome, awesome. And
Yeah.
what is a story or an experience that you personally have had with this, or someone else has had, that has been really eye opening for you in the product?
Yeah, we've had multiple mostly everybody that has purchased our products have felt the benefits of CBD. I've personally used it. So we have a product. It's a CBD muscle bomb. So it's
Okay.
four simple ingredients. It's coconut oil, olive oil, beeswax, and our CBD.
Hmm.
And I use this actually after my workout. So if I go through a really intense workout and I'm having quite a bit of soreness or a little bit of pain or anything like that, I actually rub it on the area. It's a topical.
Oh,
So the
nice.
topical is actually very beneficial for specific areas. So it's not going to give you kind of the full body effects, but it will help with certain areas. So I do use it in that aspect, and just some of our customers have said that it's helped with their anxiety.
Mm.
Just feeling anxious throughout the day. The CBD does help lower anxiety, which
Mm.
is one of the best things that you could do for somebody is just to make them feel a little bit more comfortable, in their own body and their own skin. So,
Awesome,
so
awesome. So I know we've been jumping from topic to topic this whole time so far, so I'm going to jump one more time. Aside from all these businesses, all these things that you're up to, all these passions and side projects, what makes you you, and what motivates you to keep going throughout all the failures, throughout all the growth, all of that? On top of that question, what do you do for you to I guess counterbalance all of this on your plate?
yeah. So with the first question, who am I? I'm somebody that has a huge heart. I care about people. I genuinely want people to really live up to their true potential and pursue their passions. And for me, that really starts with, like I said in the beginning, providing your body with good food from nature. Doing, getting into the sauna, taking care of yourself, working out, working out and getting movement in, and doing meditation practices. I think all of these things are just compounding effects that really play into somebody's ability to live up to their true potential and really become who they really want to be. So that's really it for me. And what I do for myself is I take care of myself every single day. I try to go to bed pretty early. I really care about getting sleep. Sleep is very important for hormone regulation and just overall health and vitality. So I try to make sure that I'm getting a good night's rest. I wake up in the morning. I'll kind of break down what I do like in my morning routine,
Yeah, for
because
sure.
I think that's kind of where a lot of my self-care comes in. So I try to wake up pretty early, and I typically try to wake up around the sunrise. So right now I've been waking up around like 5:30, and then I go after that. I make my bed. I really think let me look at my little morning routine. So first I actually write down my dreams. So this is something that I've been incorporating in the past probably month or so, is actually right out of bed. I have a notebook that like sits underneath my bed, and I pull that out and I actually write down either my dreams. If I happen to remember them, I write those down. I think dreams are very important, just for kind of understanding what's going on in your life. I think dreams say a lot about us. So I write down my dreams, and then I also kind of journal a little bit about either yesterday, what happened yesterday, or what I kind of want to happen today. Or just kind of anything on my mind. I kind of just journal and brain dump. Then from there, I usually do that for like 5 to 10 minutes, and then from there, I kind of put my journal aside, and then I make my bed. I really believe. I think the Navy SEAL. He has the book. If you make your bed, if you want to change the world, start with making your bed first. So I make my bed. I make sure everything's nice and tidied up, and then from there, I get some water. So I go to the kitchen. I try to get some water. I try to do about like 32 ounces of water. So I put down quite a bit. I do a little bit of Himalayan sea salt or Celtic salt, and a little bit of lemon. And I do that first thing in the morning to kind of get things flowing. We lose a lot of water overnight while we sleep, so I do that. I hydrate, and then from there, I kind of I go into my room. I bang out a couple push-ups, squats, burpees, just to kind of get the blood flowing, to kind of get my circadian rhythm linked up with the daylight. And then after that, I go into the shower. So I've been doing a contrast shower. So I'll hop in. I just kind of do a hot shower, kind of scrub my body down, and then I blast it all the way cold. Cold therapy is like so beneficial for just reducing inflammation, recovery, and it's just going to wake you up. Like there's like without a doubt you're going to wake up if you get blasted with cold water. So actually before that, I actually do some deep breathing work. So I'll do some deep inhale. So I'm going in through the nose, out through the mouth. I'm really trying to expand my diaphragm and do some belly breathing. And then after that, I go into the cold shower. I try to get my upper chest, my upper back, and kind of do a little rotation and get some hot water on after. And then I finish up with cold water. I hop out, and then I do a little meditation. So I do 15 to 20 minutes of meditation. Sometimes I do like a guided video. I've been typically practicing heartfulness meditation for the listeners. It's a really simple practice that you guys can all follow. So I do 15 to 20 minutes of meditation. And then from there, I'm going into some reading. So I'll read for another 15 to 20 minutes of whatever book it is. Right now, I've been reading The Daily Stoic by Ryan Holiday. I highly recommend this book. It's a really good, on the topic of fear, it's really good for that. This book talks about the meditations of Marcus Aurelius, and his main philosophy really is that we can have all these external events that go on in our life that are uncontrollable. These external events are uncontrollable, but what we do control is our mind. We talked about this before, but that's the one thing that we have control over is our mindset.
Mm.
So whatever goes on in your life, to all the listeners, whether it's a loss in your family, whether it's an injury, whether it's an illness, whatever it may be, just know that you have control over your mind, and you could allow the outcome to either break you down, or you could allow it to build you up, and allow it to be a lesson in your life. So I've been reading that book, and then from there I go into my day. I try to, then from there I'm going into my day.
Jeez, man, it
So
sounds like that first portion is your whole day, but it's literally just like the beginning. That's awesome, man.
yeah, nice and quick. Yeah.
Yeah. So we're coming to the end of our interview, or getting close to it. But what is the simplest thing that anyone can do to improve their health in their life today? Like right now, what is the simplest thing that someone can do?
Right now, by far, the simplest thing that you could do to improve your life and your health is eating a salad. Eat a salad. So I
Is this
recommend
like
to.
iceberg? Is this tomatoes? Or is
Oh
it...
yeah, we'll get it. I'll try to sum it up. I'll try to sum it up pretty quick. But eating a large salad once a day. So what I typically recommend is to add in, first a green leafy vegetable. So I recommend kale, red chard, spinach. Just a dark green leafy vegetable, and load it up. Don't go sparse with it. Just load it up. Make sure you have a lot in there. And then add some colors into it. Colors signify different vitamins and minerals. So I add some carrots, tomatoes, try to get all the different colors in there, and add fats to it as well. So that's another thing. Add fats. So I typically do extra virgin olive oil. It's a huge. It's really beneficial for combating Alzheimer's disease. They're doing a lot of studies on that. But for the listeners, one thing to be mindful of with extra virgin olive oil is where it's sourced. There's a lot of companies right now that are cutting extra virgin olive oil with canola oil. So really just make sure that you're getting a high quality source of extra virgin olive oil. I've been going with a brand that I typically try to go for brands that are located in California. They typically do smaller batches, which are, they don't cut it with canola oil. It's just extra virgin olive oil, what it's supposed to be. So don't go with the large batches that you find at like Costco or some of those Whole Food suppliers, because they cut it with canola oil, and canola oil is not the best for you. It's very high in omega-6 fatty acids, which are pro-inflammatory. So with the extra virgin olive oil, I use that as a dressing. And then I add some protein sources as well. So I've been doing sardines. I add sardines into my salads. It's another great source of omega-3 fatty acids, which is going to be great for your brain functioning, and it's going to be great for your overall health as well. So add a big salad into your diet. That's definitely my number one tip. Make sure it's colorful and add fats to it.
Awesome. Cool. Well, for everyone listening, if you're not eating a salad like that, I don't even think that you would consider it salad if it's not like that. So hope you guys are eating that. Before we get into our last three questions, I have one final question for you before the last three, so not even the final. When someone comes to you, whether it be for health, fitness, CBD, just to talk, what is the one thing that you want them to come out of that conversation with?
Oh, good question. I want them to know that they have the ability to change, and that they have the potential to really become everything that they want to become, and that they can achieve everything that they want to become. So for me, it's really just trying to instill that, and letting people know that I'm in their corner. I talk to a lot of people that I don't really know in person on social media, and I actually care about the other person on the other side, no matter who it is. Just know that I'm in your corner, and a lot of other people are in your corner. So even if you're not really in the best condition right now, maybe you're alone, you're kind of feeling defeated, just know that there are other people out there that care about you, and that's really what I try to get people to recognize, is that they have unlimited potential. The world is theirs.
Amen.
Yeah.
All right, Justin. Well, before we get into the last three questions, I just want to take the time to say thank you and acknowledge everything that you've done. And, being here, I think it's really awesome that you've really faced your fears and used those as your motivators and use your own fears to really push yourself to move forward. And I think what you're doing with your health, your fitness, your businesses, I think you're really helping people and you're really reaching people's hearts that you may not have if you didn't do those things. So one, I think that's awesome. Two, thank you for being here. And three, thank you for sharing all of your knowledge and your passion with everyone who's listening.
Thanks, John Lee. I love you, man. Dude, thanks for opening up your platform, man. You're definitely making a huge change, man. And I love seeing you keep growing.
Yeah, man. Love you too, brother. Thank you. First question of the final three questions is, what has been the favorite chapter of your life thus far?
Favorite chapter of my life would have to be when my mom passed away my junior year. My mom passed away the winter break of going into my junior year of college. And at that time, for the listeners, my father was never in my life, so my mom was all that I really had. I'm an only child, so I really lost everything at that moment. And I was lost. And luckily I had a lot of people that were there to support me. John Lee was there, a lot of friends that were there to support me, and family. And that was a huge moment for me. And I had a big decision to make, whether I should go back to school or take a semester off. And I ended up going back to school, and I was so determined that semester going back to kill it, to just have an absolute phenomenal semester and make sure that I did really well in my courses. A lot of that motivation came from my mom, and that was one of the most meaningful chapters of my life, because I recognized that I really can do anything. That's really where a lot of my confidence has came from. That situation, losing everything that I had in my life at that moment, and realizing that wasn't going to stop me, and that I was going to keep going. And that's probably one of the favorite chapters of my life. So, yeah.
Amen, brother. Amen. I know she's looking down and she's so proud of you, man. So keep it up, dude. Keep killing the game. I love it.
Thanks.
Second question is, if you had to put a name to the next chapter in your life, what would you name that chapter?
I'm going to say bright lights. So I didn't really talk about this at all, but one of my kind of side passions that I've been, I didn't talk about this at all. I did do a little bit of fitness modeling and runway modeling over the past 2 years, and I ended up meeting a manager. So he used to manage clients, actors and models back in the 1990s. Kind of a crazy coincidence. I met him at a bookstore. He was looking. I was at a bookstore that I used to go to all the time back home to do work on the online business, and I was taking a break and I was looking through the magazines, and he picked up the Essence magazine. For those that are listening, it's a African American fashion kind of magazine, blogging magazine. And I was actually featured in one of their Facebook posts when I first started modeling. Yeah. The gentleman that was beside me asked for that magazine. He's like, excuse me, do you know where the Essence magazine is? And I was like, no, I don't, but I'll try to help you find it. And we ended up finding it. And I was like, man, it's so odd that you said that magazine out of all magazines, because I was featured in a Facebook post, from them, and we kind of started talking a little bit more, and then I found out that he was a manager, that he used to manage clients, and at the time I was working with a different modeling agency, and we kind of sat down, and one thing led to another, and we developed a relationship, and now he's my manager for acting, so I'm kind of pursuing acting on the side. We are constantly submitting.
This man does it all.
We're constantly submitting my package to LA agencies out here, and casting directors. So that's really my really underlying like goal is to really get into a big feature film, get into a movie, because I truly believe that like I've experienced this myself.
Mm,
A lot of the movies that I watch, especially like like Pursuit of Happiness,
mhm.
that movie moves people. You
Yeah,
know, when
yeah,
you watch that
100%.
movie, without a doubt, you're coming out with a different perspective, and you're just feeling different.
Mhm,
So I truly believe that movies are make a huge impact in society, and that's
mhm.
really my next goal is to try to get into acting. I did a commercial acting class back home, but I'm trying to get into get into that a little bit more. So I would say Bright Lights. I'm trying to make it big on the acting and make a difference that way as well.
Yeah, dude. Oh man, future's so bright, dude. Crazy.
We'll
um,
see. We'll see.
all right. Third and final question of today is: if you had to, put all of your life into one book, what would you title that book?
What would I title that book? Um, Man, this is a tough one. Whew, it's a tough one.
It's gonna be on
Um,
New York's bestsellers list, man.
um, so I was originally going to title my podcast "The Diary of the Come Up," and
Mm,
I'll go with that because
mm,
I think I started at a very I started as a only child. Growing up, didn't really have much going on for me as far as like mentors or anybody
mm,
else helping me out, and it's just been constantly a come up for me.
mm,
Constantly trying to challenge myself to grow more mentally, physically, spiritually,
mm,
and that's really what I'm about is just constantly trying to grow. So, I'd say the diary of the come up, and
mm,
it would just be my diary and my story.
I love that. Make sure you save me a copy when that. Okay. All right,
You got it.
Justin. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for your passion, your heart, your wisdom. You got through the interview. You got through the gauntlet of questions. Now it's your time to shine. Well, this whole interview was your time to shine. But where can our listeners find you, find out who you are, find more about you, and keep up with your journey and your activities?
Yeah, of course. So I'm pretty active on Instagram at jrice, so JRICE_fit FIT.
Mm,
So that's where I'm at on Instagram, and then you guys can find me on my personal brand website www.jricefit.com, and then the CBD company, which will be developing into much more than a CBD company. We plan on expanding that to a whole bunch of different arenas, but
mm.
that's justintegrity.com. So JUST integrity INTEGRITY.com. Okay.
Awesome, dude. I love that. That was great. That was
Oh
great.
yeah, I forgot the J Rice Fit show as well is coming. The podcast.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice. Can't wait for it. Can't
Yep.
wait. All
Yep.
right, brother. Thank you so much. Do you have any last words to say to all the people listening?
Of course, man. I'm not gonna pass up the opportunity to try to inspire. Don't give up. Don't give up wherever you're at right now. Just know that things are going to get better for you. Just keep working at it. Keep trying to grow yourself mentally, physically. Read books. That's a huge thing for me. You can learn so much from a book. Just constantly grow, and don't give up.
Amen. All right. Thank you so much, man. Have a wonderful night and stay safe. Stay you.
All right, brother. Much love, man. I'll talk to you.